Welcome to the greatest, latest, baddest, maddest show of shows that's good to go. The Washington Commanders football show. Facts, history, and news. I am your host, Freddie Football. We got a brand new show for you this week. Not going to be too long today. Next week, next Thursday. Matter of fact, we are 7 days away from the NFL draft, the 2025 NFL draft, and can't wait. Got a few things today to cover. Facts, history, and news. And first, let's just talk about the Washington Commanders news, the latest news. The Commanders are close to a $3 billion deal to getting a new stadium at the old RFK site that's downtown Washington, D.C. They haven't settled on it yet, but they have the framework for the deal going. And I'll keep you updated on that in the weeks to come and the next show to come. Draft considerations. We'll get to that in a moment. Coaching changes. Brian Snyder has been hired as a coach, and Jesse Madden, the grandson of the great late John Madden, will be joining the team according to a press release from the Commanders. And draft considerations, I'll be getting back to that in a moment. Facts. The Washington team changed their nickname, formerly the Washington Redskins, changed their name to the Washington Football Team in 2020. They disbanded the name the Redskins, and they changed their name in 2020. And for 2 years, they kept the Washington Football Team. They were known as the Washington Football Team. Back then, there were a lot of people. I don't know who they were, protesting against the Redskins name because they had the name for 75 years. So that in itself didn't make sense to me. So 2020, still under the, unfortunately, Daniel Snyder regime, they changed the name to Washington Football Team. They kept that for 2 years. And in 2022, I believe it was February 2nd of 2022, they changed from the Washington Football Team to the Washington Commanders, which is now the team that they now in the present have, the Washington Commanders. Okay, will they go back to the Washington Redskins? I seriously doubt it. Pretty much like the owner Josh Harris said, it's a new era. We're going to keep the name, the Washington Commanders, and move forward from there. As far as the logo, they might bring the logo back. There was word a while back that they might possibly bring the old Redskins logo back on certain items. But as far as like the uniform, I'm not too sure about that. Maybe a throwback or something. I think it would be good if they bring the Redskin logo back and wear their old school jerseys, wear their throwback, which are known as throwbacks. That a lot of NFL teams wear their old school jerseys that they no longer wear, their old school helmets. So I'm hoping that they, personally as a fan, I'm hoping that they bring back the old logo, the Redskins logo, and they wear them as throwbacks. That would be cool, really cool. And I like the one with the arrow, the 60s version where they had the arrow on the helmet during the early days of Sonny Jurgensen. Then they had the old school R for Redskins in the early 70s. Who knows? They might bring that back. It'd be interesting to see. And hopefully they'll make some adjustments to their uniforms this year. Maybe they'll make some different changes I like to see. So who knows? History part, the 1980s through the 1990s, the Washington Redskins were under the leadership of Coach Joe Gibbs, who joined the organization in 1981. His first year, he was 8-8, and you know how that turned out later on. Later on in his coaching tenure, uh, he won 3 Super Bowls: Super Bowl 17, Super Bowl 22, and Super Bowl 26. He lost in Super Bowl 18. So his record in the Super Bowl was 3-1. And Joe Gibbs also is the only coach in NFL history to win 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. Joe Theismann, Doug Williams, who was the first African American black starting quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and Mark Rippon, Super Bowl 26. 3 different quarterbacks. The coaching career, the coaching record of Coach Joe Gibbs: 154 wins, 94 losses. The postseason, the playoffs, he had a record of 17-7, very impressive. And his overall record was 171 wins and 101 losses. So that's a Hall of Fame career right there in my books. 171 wins, 101 losses, 3 Super Bowl wins, 17 postseason wins. So that concludes our facts, history, and news. Also, next week, happy to say that the NFL draft will be here next Thursday night. I believe it starts at 8 p.m., between 7 or 8 p.m. I got to get my times right on that. But it'll be April 24th, 2025. And it will be in, I believe, Las Vegas. I want to say Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm mistaken, then I'll correct myself. I believe last year it was in Cleveland. I think this year the NFL draft will be in Las Vegas. Let's see. Draft considerations. With the 29th overall pick in the draft, the Commanders are evaluating potential defensive players to bolster their roster. The biggest question is, will the Commanders cash in on number 29 and draft the best player available, or will they trade the number 29 pick to get more options, to get more draft picks? So because of right now, they only have 5 in the draft this year. So we're going to see what kind of magic that General Manager Adam Peters, along with Coach Dan Quinn, do. Depends on what they want to do in the draft. So I don't know. That's a tough one. What are the needs? What are their draft needs? My opinion, I think they need another safety. Jeremy Chin is gone. Safety from last year, did a marvelous job. He came over from the Carolina Panthers. Was a heavy hitter, very good down in the box. Decent tackler, very good player. He made some good plays for us, but he's gone now. So I'm thinking we need a safety. We need a defensive tackle. We need a true defensive tackle that can eat up space and that can plug up the run. Someone that can plug up the run. Someone that can put heat on the quarterback and cause havoc. I say a defensive tackle, a nose tackle. We need an end, defensive end, offensive tackle. I think for more depth, we need wide receiver. We need a true number 2 that'll come behind Terry McLaurin, our number 1 receiver. We did get Deebo Samuel in the draft, but I think they're going to use him more like a Swiss Army knife, more like a running back coming out of the backfield, or sometimes they'll line him up in the slot as a receiver. I think they'll move him around a lot under offensive coordinator Coach Cliff Kingsbury. So, but I think we need a number two wideout coming out of the draft, a big, tall, strong receiver with great hands that can run great routes, that's clutch and catching the ball, that can break tackles after the catch, yards after the catch, someone that smells the end zone, that gets in the end zone. We're going to need a receiver like that. The last thing I would say a running back. I would love to have a Saquon Barkley type running back, big, strong, fast, has great vision, can see the hole, and when he breaks through the hole, he's a potential home run hitter every time he gets into open space. Guaranteed, home run hitter that can get to the end zone anytime he touches the ball. We need a big, strong, fast running back like that, I think. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see a week from now what they do. I'm really excited to see it, and I think it's gonna be a great year. I think we're gonna surround quarterback Jaden Daniels with some weapons this year. Not that we didn't have any last year, but I think this year they're gonna be stronger. I think they're gonna be better. A lot of analysts are talking out there. What if Jaden Daniels has a sophomore slump? The defenses, they're going to be better prepared for him. Maybe so, but I believe that Jaden Daniels is going to get better and better and better as a quarterback. He's the real deal. I know that C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans had a sophomore slump, but he kind of had a suspect offensive line last year, so he was sacked more often, and he had a rougher time in the pocket. But I don't think that's going to be so for Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to adapt, be even better, and I believe that this line, with the free agency, like getting Laramie Tunsil from the Houston Texans, that will be a good pass protector up front, one of the best offensive tackles in the league. I think they've upgraded their offensive line, and I think Jaden Daniels is going to be even more dangerous, even if he doesn't have to run as much as he did his rookie year. So I believe on the offensive side of the ball that the Commanders are going to be great. They're going to be dangerous. They're going to be hard to stop, and they're going to put up a lot of points. Defensively, I don't know yet. I right now I don't see anything as far as how much they improved. I think they have more good in-depth players than they had last year. I think they made some good choices in the free agency this offseason, but I haven't seen anything that's really stood out as far as what's going to happen on the defense. So I'm really interested in seeing what they do in this draft and what's going to happen coming up. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to them having a better year. I think their schedule is going to be a lot tougher than it was last year. But I think that they'll be up for the challenge, and I think that they're going to be a playoff team, and they're going to contend, and they're going to push to get to the Super Bowl, and I believe eventually they're going to break through. It's just a matter of time. And as far as catching Philly, that's another big question. We have to see. They're just a young, talented team right now. They won a Super Bowl. They coming back. They lost quite a few people, but they're still strong. And so that's going to be a challenge for us to win the division in the NFC East. We're going to see what happens. And that's all. That's about it. That's all that I have, Washington Commanders fans. That's all that I have, Hail Nation, HAIL, Hail Nation. So that's all that I have this week, fans. Be good. Come back next week. Check me out. Washington Commanders fans, Hail Nation. I will see you next time. I'm Freddie Football. I will catch you next week. Matter of fact, it'll be right around the time of the draft. Looking forward to that. Matter of fact, the next show will be right after the draft. Looking forward to it next week. We're going to review all the draft picks that they picked, and we're just going to do an in-depth analysis. I'm going to do a personal analysis on how I feel that they're going to do. And I'm going to try to see if they have a schedule out. I'm not sure, but I'm going to look into that. And if I find it, I will share with you who they play in the 2025 season. Looking forward to it. Until next time, Washington fans, girls and guys, have a good one. Be blessed, and I'll see you soon. Peace.